Hey everybody! Welcome to Learning Sunday, where every Sunday we learn something together. I didn't ask you what you wanted to learn this week because I've decided that you all should know how to jumpstart a car. This is something that is vital in the world, and I think everyone should know how to do it. I learned it when I was in high school, and I was the queen of jumping cars. Whenever someone's battery died, they called me. Now, this can be dangerous if you don't do it right or if you're not paying attention, so I have to say use extreme caution and safety when jumpstarting a car. I've never been electrocuted, and I don't know of anyone who's ever been electrocuted or died or gotten hurt jumpstarting a car, but I have to say that it can be dangerous, so pay attention. Alright, what you're gonna need is a car that is dead and a car that is working. Step 1, have jumper cables. You'll need those. I always have a pair in my car. I think everyone should have a pair of jumper cables in your car. Emergencies, people, be prepared. So ideally, you want to park with the cars facing each other, but sometimes that doesn't work and the cables won't reach both batteries, so you have to park in some weird angle and then that'll work. But make sure the cars are never touching each other. I don't know why, but I know that's a rule. For automatic cars, make sure it's in park and you have the parking brake up. For manual cars, make sure it's in neutral with the parking brake up. Even if you don't ever use your parking brake, like automatic car users, still push it up because your car can move slightly and you don't want it to move at all during this process. So turn off both cars. Well, the dead one's already off. But make sure both cars are off and keys are out of the ignition. You don't want the engine doing any work at this moment. Now set the jumper cables down on the ground and make sure none of the clips are touching each other. You want them spaced out. Just trust me, don't let them touch. If they touch at any moment in time, once they're connected to a working car, you will get electrocuted. You'll die. So just make a habit of never letting them touch during any part of the process. Now you need to open the hoods to both cars. If you've never opened a hood before, you need to pop it inside, and then there's a little tiny latch that you have to like work with, and then the thing will open. Then you get a stick and you stick it in the hole, and then the hood's open. Sometimes batteries have a little plastic thing on them in newer cars to keep the battery fresher, cleaner, better. So you'll have to remove that plastic cap. If you don't know where the battery is in your car, there should be an owner's manual inside your glove compartment. There's gonna be two little thingies on the battery. These are the thingies I'm talking about. One is positive and one is negative. The red is positive, the black is negative. Sometimes they just say it, sometimes it's color coded. Make sure that you can identify which is which before you start the process, because if you can't identify which is which, there's no like, oh, it's 50-50, let's just guess. That's not how this works. So now you're gonna begin to start clamping the jumper cables onto the battery. Just remember, first step, red to dead. So you're gonna take the positive or the red clamp and stick it onto the red/positive terminal on the battery. That's the first one, red to dead. So the first step, red clamp to positive/red terminal on the dead car, the car that needs the help, red to dead. Now on the other side of the jumper cables is another red clamp. Remember, at this point, make sure none of the clamps are touching each other. You're gonna take the other red one and put it on the positive/red terminal of the working car. All the cars are still off, everybody. Remember that, the cars are still off. Then you're gonna take the black clamp and put it to the working car. So you go red to dead, red to working, black to working. And then you go back over to the dead car, and I've always done it where you just stick that other black cable on the other terminal thing. So I jumped this car without doing research first, because this is how I've always jumped cars, and then I was reading that you shouldn't do that. So it goes red to dead, red to working, black to working, black to some random metal part of your car. It says, do not connect the black negative cable clamp to the dead battery. Instead, attach the clamp to an unpainted metal part of the car, such as the shiny clean nut on the engine block. I didn't know this, and hey, you learn from your mistakes. I've never had a problem jumping a car doing it my way, but I say do what they say. But of course, I filmed the jumping part before I filmed this part, so it's not gonna look the same as I'm saying. All right, so now that your jumper cables are attached, red, red, black, black, that's how it goes. It's time to start your engines, ladies and gentlemen. So you start the working vehicle and you let it run for a little while. While it's running, the juices from the working car are flowing through the cables into the dead car. And depending how dead the dead car is, you may have it run longer or shorter. You know, sometimes they start right away. Sometimes it takes like a good 5 minutes just to let the juices flow. And now you go over to the dead car and you put your foot on the brake and you try and start it. It might not start at first. You may have to wait for the engine to keep going. Sometimes you need to rev the working car, rev the engine to get the juices flowing more, to get them flowing through the cables more to the dead car. Sometimes it takes a while. And then once the dead car starts running and they're both alive cars, don't turn the car that had the problems off. Keep the car running. You may want to drive it around a bit. Just make sure the juices go all through the car, everything's working. You don't want to start the car and be like, oh, it works now, great, and then turn it off. Don't do that. Turn the car on. Once it's on, seriously, drive it around a little bit, keep it on, keep flowing, keep it going. If it was just a one-time thing, you know, you just bought the battery, you left the light on, it's fine. Don't worry about it. But if you're like, I think my battery needs some help, go straight to an auto parts store and buy a battery. So when you're unclamping the jumper cables, when you're taking off the clamps, make sure you start with black first and make sure the clamps do not touch each other. So the same as you put them on, take them off. Black, black, red, red. All right, that's the safest way to do it. Make sure the cables don't touch each other. I can't stress that enough. That's the only dangerous part of jump starting a car, is if the cables touch each other. Make sure they're not. Nope, don't do it. Don't do it. All right, so that's it. That's how you jump start a car. In short, open hoods, red to dead, red to good, black to good, black to dead. Start the good car, wait a while, start the dead car, black off, red off, red off. Let the engine run. That's it. That's how you jump start a car. All right, thank you guys for watching. I hope you learned something. Please, the first time you do this, make sure you have someone that knows how to jump start a car with you, just so that maybe, like, you know, a little practice never hurts. I love you guys. I will ask you next week what you want to learn on Twitter, so make sure you're following me on Twitter. Subscribe to see videos every Tuesday, Thursday, and Sunday on this channel. Every Sunday we learn something together. It's important to learn. All right, I love you guys so much, but above all else, stay awesome, possums.